Hello, and welcome to the Remembering. My name's Matthew, and tonight I am here with my co-host, Chase Binney. Hello,
Hey.
Chase.
Hey, it's like we just jumped off a cliff as you cut the music like that. now we're coasting.
I'm a little technically challenged, so working out all those bits and pieces, So, we are here tonight, Friday, August 16th, 2013. We'd like to welcome everyone who's tuning in, whether that be over the internet, over telepathy, over universal communication. Who's ever out there listening, we welcome you with open arms and an open heart. So, Chase, what have you been up to these days?
This past week I've been really focusing on health and nutrition and doing a lot of research on it, and I'm finding some core truths that I'm aligning with and moving towards vegan and fruitarian and looking at different things like that, but I'm finding it's a lot about belief. So I'm tapping into my own powers of healing within me too.
Yeah, I think with food, I know if you have a certain intention behind your diet or of your experience of eating and nourishing yourself, you can actually program the food that we eat to come in, our relationship that we build with it and come into contact with it, that energy exchange, we can make it kind of like free energy, and we align with the food. So we put our intention in the food, and you tell the food thank you, I love you, thank you for nourishing my physical body and my being. And the food, you just, it's kind of like a game, but it's real. And the food, you invite the food to take on that intention and to make it true. And then if you hold that intention behind it, hold the space and kind of non-attachment to it happening, but more just put the energy and the love behind it, we can actually double up, triple up, quadruple up the food that we eat to really kind of be like this medicine that heals us.
I was just thinking about that in the way that vitamin D, they say it comes from the sun, but I'm it's rainy today, so I didn't get my vitamin D that way, but then I just decided to fill up with vitamin D and sunlight. I don't need it up in the sky. I don't need the light shining on my skin, but I decided to do it, and I actually felt closed my eyes and I felt like there was sunlight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just all about kind of our imagination, and that saying, inside the magic happens outside your comfort zone, or something that's maybe a little unfamiliar, or kind of, it's like we have beliefs and definitions and truths that we hold on to about our reality and about our life and our perception of the world. And a lot of us, we don't understand that the beliefs and that programming and that mental rigidity actually shapes our perception of the world and our consciousness. So if we think, okay, I can't turn this water into wine, and I just say that's unbelievable to me. I could never fathom that making that a reality, manifesting that in this physical world. So I don't. If that's what I believe, then I block myself from having that experience. And as we kind of tear down those walls and kind of open up to what makes us feel good and what we can create, we actually, like, I don't know, it's kind of like taking on a new power, but it's just like real.
That makes me think about, in the lighter densities, it's not other dimensions, but just talking about lighter densities, like say in more of a dream world, like when you go to sleep and you have those dreams where things are happening, but it's not so concrete and physical as here. Like in my waking life, I can set the bottle on the table, and it stays there, and it remains a bottle. It doesn't just like phase out or turn into other things or morph into other objects. And in what I call dream worlds, like at nighttime dreaming, I might set the bottle down and completely never see it again, because the dream just kind of moves around so light, and there's nothing really solid. So there must be a purpose to the solidity of, or the apparent solidity of this structure. And somehow it's like, it's solid, like you're talking about food that you bless, or you reprogram it, so it's solid enough to have, like, to stay on your plate, but it's fluid enough for you to program the DNA in it.
I love how you were speaking in terms of like fluidity, and like I'm thinking of like kind of like plasma, like Jello, and then like turning into different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we could, who knows, we could live in a world where everything is like this clay, fluid, flubber material.
Well, yeah, I mean, the physical, whatever that may be, it's kind of like plasma. I mean, it's kind of like Play-Doh for the focus, the awareness, and what we want, what the creation. The creativity, the imagined, the energetic intelligence behind that shaped everything and like gave it structure, but kind of like, I guess that's kind of what creation is, kind of like you're not solid, but then you're not just like all over the place. It's like the coming together, the yin and the yanging.
I've never heard those used as verbs before.
Neither have I. I'm not really sure.
Speaking of the yin and yang, did you have something about the masculine and feminine that may tie into the yin and yang?
Oh, yes. Yes, actually. I don't know. By the way, as we proceed, if anyone is listening and wants to call in and be part of the conversation, or if you have something to say, then the number is 646-716-4598. And you can call in, raise your hand. You just have to press a button, and then we'll bring you on air. So we are happy to hear from you. Yes, so I do have some information on the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Teal Scott, I don't know if you are familiar with her work. She's pretty incredible. And she does lots of videos. You can check her out on YouTube. Teal Scott did a little writing piece on the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So I have a few qualities of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And when I read this list and I kind of saw the traits the attributes kind of laid down, it made it a lot easier for me to look inside myself and see things, see qualities that I've wanted to develop or create or cultivate within myself, or other tendencies that might overpower others. So I'm just going to read a few because I think this is important. Is that cool, Chase?
Yep.
Okay. So the divine masculine. Here are some traits. So action, direction, movement, responsibility, strength, focus. The sun, generosity, encouragement, material abundance, clarity, intellect, transformation, and growth. So that's kind of like the divine masculine energy as she described it, which was pretty wicked. And then the divine feminine, she has restoration, life, renewal, creation, birth, healing, receptivity, openness, motherhood, nurturing, love, understanding, compassion, insight, intuition, wisdom, forgiveness, the moon, connection, harmony, and sensuality. How aren't those wicked?
Yeah. And this isn't to say that girls should be like this and guys should be like that.
Not at all, because we, both men and women, regardless of the gender or the sex that are unity consciousness, no matter what incarnate or what it looks like in the physical form, in one polarity, we're actually all made up of and have this sacred marriage, the balance in each and every one of us. That's what you're saying, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I thought I'd share that because I know that a lot of people are talking about kind of like the divine feminine kind of coming back to the planet because we've been kind of over in a male patriarchal domination, kind of like a father god, and now kind of the divine feminine energy is kind of coming back to balance it out. Have you read about that, and have you experienced and felt that?
I can kind of see that happening with our leadership on the planet, you know, whether it's a leader in the community or a leader in government or international status, where the leaders of the past had a more masculine approach where they kind of knew what was right, they had all the answers, and they're on the podium with the microphone. And we even had that in the 60s with like Martin Luther King Jr. I feel like that's more of a masculine approach. And then the feminine approach seems to be like not always knowing all the answers, but listening to every person in the community and making sure everyone's included and just kind of nurturing the desires of the collective.
Yeah, I love that description.
I don't know if that's completely accurate to the feminine and masculine thing, but that's what I feel is going on. No,
but yeah, I mean, the energies are just kind of affecting our whole way of life, the whole way we make meaning in the world. So I mean, kind of moving into the new paradigm and like communities and like just kind of social structures and not, moving away from transcending the hierarchy of control structure and, imbalanced like sociopath agendas for control and like manipulation and more just kind of like listening to all members of our human family, nature, like the whole planet, having everyone have a say in the way of things, the way we live. And I think as you were saying, listening to everyone and having that transparency and that open communication. I mean, that's the only way of life that's going to be able to be cultivated with this higher frequency and kind of the truth that's coming out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about taking criticism. How about we talk about taking criticism? You know, how to hear our own critic spoken and mirrored back to us.
I had this experience today where I put up a whole blog post, and I got really passionate about it, and I right away posted it to my Facebook wall. And the first response I got was this really sarcastic, snide comment by someone who, like, he was criticizing it and bringing in this, it was about health, so he came with this hard science, medical professional take on it, and it was very full of, he just doubted everything that I was saying, and was actually seeing my post as harmful to people because it was spreading misinformation. I was just promoting a raw foods, healthy, like, natural living. Anyways, the main point of what I'm saying is he came in, and at first I was like, this sucks. Why would he criticize this? I'm gonna unfriend this guy. But then I thought, he's offering me some sort of gift right now. And if it comes through criticism, what is it about? Because I didn't just get this out of pure chance or coincidence. Everything's run on synchronicity. So I thought about it, and I realized that I have this inner critic in my head that kind of doubts this stuff too. You know, the one that's like, that holds me back when I'm about to say something, I don't know, that's I don't know how to explain it. I don't have the adjective for that. But this guy came and he voiced all the doubts that were in my mind.
Yeah.
So I actually felt like I was having a conversation with my own mind.
Yeah. I really understand that. I think that, you know, I guess all interactions that we have, or I guess everything that appears in our external reality is reflecting some part of ourselves, some charge, some part of our energy system, or our life force, our being. Everything's reflecting back something that's inside of us. And I think that's really useful when we have those experiences with when we can take the experience as just what's happening now and drop the judgment and just kind of be the observer of what's going on, you know, and non-attachment to it, and just kind of, you know, hold the space of it. That's how we, like, kind of uncover these deeper awarenesses and parts of ourselves that we might haven't consciously realized were there. And, like, it's just like no one else has authority over anyone else, you know. So when that person maybe was speaking out about your blog post, I think that they were probably just trying to make sure that the information was kind of true as they know it to be true, just like we're all doing. Everything that we do any interaction we have, whatever we do, we're doing it because that's what we think is, that's how we've set up the moment. And that's what we think to be true, and we carry that around with us. So that guy just was like, your truth isn't coming into contact with mine. And then, people have disagreements.
I thought it was just so perfect because he could have passed by and not said anything, but the fact that he was pointing it out and the fact that it actually resonated in me and like hit me in my gut, and I immediately was kind of like on the defense, like I wanted to delete his comments, and I took him aside and I did a private message with him, and then I realized that when I face this criticism, why did I have something to prove to him? Why was I defending myself? Because I could have easily had all positive responses and everyone is saying, yeah, we like that, hooray, thanks for the blog post. But there was some purpose to it. Like I said, it didn't just happen by chance. There was a purpose to this coming to my attention, and he was definitely a reflection of my inner doubts.
Yeah, I know that inner critic, that voice that says I can't, or that's trying to have an authority over the experience as it's just happening. And it's tough at first to discipline that mind or that that critic that says those harmful, those kind of untrue things that restrict the infinite flow of life energy, chi energy, life force, our life essence. Those beliefs and those negative polarity thought forms, those things about our story and about the past and about the future, just kind of, they limit our experience and we don't allow ourselves to receive the gifts and the things that happen when we're up in our head, kind of judging it instead of being open to what is or what could be, and those experiences when someone kind of points out those ways that you could love yourself a little more, that's such a blessing.
Definitely was a blessing.
I thought we could talk a little bit and continue with the food conversation about the healthy foods, because it's pretty, when I look at like nutrition, it's kind of like, you go to what's like the most, it seems evident or self-evident that eating raw, basic, green leaf vegetables, nuts, and like those natural things and lots of water is like, healthy for you.
Yeah, it's confused me because I see different cultures doing different things and people thriving on different diets. For me personally, I've moved into eating a lot of fruit. I got a lot of fruit and the leafy greens and some nuts and seeds, and definitely a lot of water, drinking distilled water. So there are these things that I've met people who think they can they can eat junk food and they can try to bless it and pretend like there's no consequences, like physiologically. And I guess you'd be able to tell if somebody truly was transmuting their Cheetos into like divinely arranged molecules. You would know if they're a master of manifestation like that. But from the people that I've met, there is some definite truth to the physiological and like biochemical components of food. So I've definitely started to move into eating a lot more water-based foods, things that are still living, like the fruits, and I've got my sprouts right here, like, and moving away from anything that's like overcooked or processed or comes in a bag inside of a box. Because the human body itself, as a living crystal that it is a liquid-based, water-based crystal, and in order for it to be the conscious receiver and transmitter of energy that it is, the electromagnetic field, water is definitely the smoothest conductor of that type of energy.
Yeah, and what you were saying about the food, I think it's really like how do you feel when you eat the food? If it doesn't make you feel good, like if the food doesn't make you feel good, then like that's probably a good indication that you shouldn't eat that food. And with the water, so many of us are so overly dehydrated. I mean, like severely dehydrated. Like I try to get my parents to drink more water, and they don't like water, and I'm just like pointing it out so often, and like putting a big bowl of water like on the table just to like have water just like in the room, because, and like setting an intention into the water, and like having that alchemy, like believing in it, like, you know, we are alchemists, and like we can do that if, like, you know, you put the love and the open heart behind it and feel connected with the planet and feel connected with nature and feel connected with the elements, you know, fire, water, earth, air. And water is just so like the most important. Isn't it the most nutritious substance on the planet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, so we're breathing air all the time. We're breathing it, and in the air there's oxygen and nitrogen and a few other gases, and our body uses that, and you know, I'm starting to think that it actually condenses some of that into water to use, because how much of our body is really oxygen? There's a certain percentage, but most of the oxygen in our body is actually in the molecules of water, because we have hydrogen and oxygen, H2O. So a majority of the water that we drink is actually this liquefied gas, including oxygen in it, which is really cool to think about. And I'm finding that a gallon a day of water is not ridiculous. That's actually that's like a healthy amount. And for the people that do get on 1 gallon per day, they have these amazing healing reactions, and preferably using water like distilled water. That's the research that I've been doing, because it is just water with nothing else in it. And so the purity of that actually flushes anything inorganic out of the body. And in turn, then when you have less junk in your system, the body starts to run more smoothly. It's kind of like having dirt around the axle of the wheel. Like, it doesn't turn very smoothly, but if you like really rinse that out, then it starts to spin smoothly. Same deal, is like there's less friction in the body system, and we're talking like energetically and physiologically, and like just the fact of like water flowing through your veins. Everything flows more smoothly, and so your body communicates with itself, and then energetically your body is communicating with all of life. Your connection with the earth will open up. Your connection with other people will be a lot more clear. So like these physiological things, like the hard science of just, water and hydrogen, oxygen, the hard science of that is real just as much as the energetic level, and they're overlapping. Well, it's all energy, but.
Yeah, and to add to the water that we'll be drinking, then we can also have a good, deep, relaxed inhale, exhale. Can we all just do that right now? Want to just have a nice breath? Okay. Just a nice inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. That's what I do. What do you do when you breathe?
Mostly through the nose, sometimes exhale out the mouth.
I've been really breathing into my lower back. Places where you don't really think to breathe into, but kind of lower back, or maybe one side of your body feels tighter than the other side. And just kind of putting the intention to focus on that part of the body and send extra love and space there. That's really been helping me out. I feel I don't know, what a swimmer, if you've been swimming underwater and you can kind of, hold your breath for a long time, but then maybe when you were little, and then when you grow up and then you try to do that, you can't hold your breath that much longer when you're underwater, because you realize that you're shorter of breath, and if there's a restriction in your breathing, there's a restriction in your life.
That's so true.
And we also have a caller, Chase.
Cool.
Should we take it?
Oh, just one thing to add on the breathing thing. If people miss out on the importance of breathing, some people are doing things they go to these oxygen bars and they get high off straight up oxygen, which is really just, that should be our natural state, is we're high off breathing. And then other people are doing this sort of ozone therapy where they add, it's not oxygen, but it may be related, that where they're adding O3, ozone, to their water, which somehow makes it more aerobic. It allows more oxygen in it. And I'm not saying I recommend it or not. I'm just pointing out that people are desperately trying to get more air into their life, and more breathing, and more flow.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd add that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a lot of us are just we are moving towards, we are generating, we're generating the flow. We are, getting, it's kind of getting, it's kind of like muscles that you haven't moved in a long time.
Yeah.
Or something. And you're just kind of ooh, that hurts. I didn't like that. And then you're feeling into, okay, that feels really good. And then just following that. Let's take this caller. How about that?
Yep.
Okay. So we have caller area code 320. Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey.
My name is Chris, and I'm actually from St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Chris, my man.
Hey, Chris.
Chase knows who I'm talking about. How's it going, you guys?
We're doing well.
Wonderful. I was just listening to your guys' show, and I just wanted to contribute to the conversation about breathing a little bit. You guys were kind of tying together the idea of taking the physiological aspect of breathing and consuming food and consuming water and relating it to the energetic aspect and the more esoteric principles. And I think it's just important to recognize that we are beings of multiple densities, and these different states of energy density within our vehicle, our bodily vehicle, need to be sustained respectively as well as a whole. And as far as the breathing goes, all of our cells, all of our metabolism, all of the transmutation that happens inside of our body is catalyzed by the oxygen that we take in. Blood can actually dissolve within it multiple tens of times more oxygen than water can. And when we breathe, our blood takes this oxygen to our cells, and that is what allows us to detoxify. That's what allows us to rebuild our tissues. And that's, I think, why breathing is such a big part of transcendence and the practice of transcendence. So along with, nutrition and water, I guess I just wanted to contribute a little bit to the conversation on breathing because its importance is just as paramount as anything else. And that goes for air quality as well.
Chase, I thought you were going to take that. I mean, he's from Minnesota.
I recognize the 320 area code. I knew it was somebody from up there. Chris, thank you. That's some good stuff.
Yeah, Chris, can you tell us about your personal breathing practice? And, do you have a daily routine? What do you do in the morning when you wake up? Do you have anything to, ground your energy and kind of get in the flow?
Absolutely. My breathing practice is sort of my breathing has sort of become my anchor to mindfulness, or to a state of coherence. So throughout the day, I do practice breathing, conscious breathing. In the morning, I like to take in the ether and the energy coming in from the sun, along with my oxygen. I like to send it through my body to all of my cells. If you do this with intent, with conscious intent, there's a distinct feeling of vibrancy that you can bring into your body. So I guess my breathing practice just consists of consciously bringing the air and the energy that I breathe in to all of my cells, to all of the structures, tissues, and organs inside my body. There are only a small amount of bacteria and single cellular organisms within our body that don't require oxygen for their own metabolism. Almost every single cell in our body does. So I really just try to saturate my entire physiology with the energy of breathing.
I love it. Nice. Well, Chase, do you have any questions?
You could join us. Just be the third
I would love to join you sometime.
I wonder if we can keep you on here and then take another caller as well. Can you do that?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm willing to let you guys try.
Okay, so we'll take Chris on here as the third anchor. Cool. You just got you're in here now. So now we're gonna take caller 805, area code 805. Hello, 805.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
Hey.
Hello.
Excellent conversation. My name's Mitch, and I'm calling from California. And I teach yoga to people with limited abilities and older people. And I truly believe, the foundation of health is through the mind, and that the body follows the mind. Like when I first got into yoga, I thought I'll get into really good shape, and then maybe I'll look into meditation. And so what happened, I got into really good shape, and then I got hurt, and I wasn't able to do what I was able to do in the past. And so I turned to meditation, and I had a feeling about it, that my mind would take me further than my body ever could. And it really did, just like our minds can bring us to places, that our bodies could never go. And I truly believe, the foundation of health, is the mind first. And like Chris was saying, just through mindful breathing, a type of meditation is called Vipassana meditation, and in the meditation,
what's that?
am I still there?
Yeah, I think we're still on here.
Okay, I just heard it down. Did you guys hear up to the point where I mentioned Vipassana meditation?
Yeah, we were just at that point.
Okay. So through that type of meditation or mindfulness, there's basically the first thing that you become aware of is your breath, just the rising and falling, and you can label it. You can label it as up and down or rising and falling. Some people like to say soham, which in Sanskrit means I am. But then after that, usually the next thing that'll come up is bodily sensations. You'll start to feel tightness or warmness or whatever sensation you feel in your body. And then you become aware of that. And what you realize is that all things are temporary manifestations. What we could always turn back to is our breath. And through that stillness, we could come into contact with our spirit, like they say, breath is another word for spirit. And, but the four things you can be aware of, the acronym I like to use is BSTF, BSTF, breath, sensations, thoughts, and then feelings, which you could use as an acronym for emotions. And so I guide people through this, and it's like just the benefits of it are amazing. I have people come into my classes and they look stressed out, worrying about stuff, and when they leave, they look like I don't know, like they smoked some weed or they just woke up from a dream or something. It's really a beautiful thing. But I think the conversation that you guys are having is just excellent, because I listen to a lot of I don't know what you would call a new age type show or alternative type shows, and really looking to the foundation, of making these changes within ourselves rather than trying to change the world, to quote from Gandhi, really changing ourselves. We don't need to worry about the world at all, just, look inside ourselves for these answers, which is very
Absolutely.
basic. Like you guys were just saying, food, breath, and water. How simple is that? It's so simple.
Mitch, could you spell the style of yoga for the listeners?
Pardon?
Could you spell out that style of yoga for the listeners?
Oh, yeah, it's called Vipassana. V as in Victor, I, T as in Paul, A, S, S, A, N, A. And it's a type of meditation, you can, Jack Kornfeld is the author who talks about it, but they have these Vipassana centers all over America, and you could go there for free. It's completely free. You could go there for a 10-day retreat. They pay for your food. They pay for your housing. And, like 10 days, I haven't done it. I've had friends that have done it. 10 days, I don't know. I don't have that type of time right now. But there's many different, paths to get to the same place. But I really like that guy, Jack Kornfeld. He talks about this type of meditation. There's a website called dharmaseed.com, and they have a bunch of different talks on there, Dharma talks, or they call it just talks about mindfulness. But it's just really, sometimes when we get lost or aren't feeling good, it's good stuff to listen to. It's just really good mind candy.
Absolutely.
I love that phrase, mind candy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, it's so incredible that we have all of the tools that we need, all of the everything that we could ever want is literally right here in this moment, and just using the breath, the simplest the tool of breath to anchor, as you said, to anchor in the awareness of just presence and just being here now is the most important thing we can really do, is to show up for this moment, be here now. And as you said, I loved how you said that we don't need to go out into the world and do. It's not so much about going out there and doing something. It's more about just being, holding that space of that life and that awareness yourself in your being that. And as you be that, you'll just be inspired to go do everything.
And you'll inspire people without doing anything at all.
Exactly.
Without doing anything more than being in the moment.
Exactly, because it brings that energy in, when we're all consciousness, whatever we're doing. I'm making a salad right now, and when you take care, take pride in what you're doing, it brings that energy in rather than going to some job, that's just a means to an end, it's just a check. And that brings that unconscious energy in as well, conversely, you know what I mean, when you're doing something that really doesn't feel right in your heart.
Absolutely.
That's a good distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys just start this show?
We've been working on it. It's kind of like a crab coming out from under the rock.
Kind of salty.
Yeah. It's salty. We try to just roll with the tide. Right, Chase?
Yeah.
Good deal.
After all, what else can we do?
Yeah.
All right, Mitch and Chris, thank you so much for calling in. I love speaking with you.
Absolutely.
You're welcome. You're so welcome.
You will hear more from me, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll be talking to you telepathically and physically.
And remember, we're inside of you.
Excellent. Namaste.
We'll see you in the dream world. Yeah, namaste.
All right. Peace out, guys.
Chase.
Yes.
You're there. So that was great.
Yeah.
That was great. They had some amazing things to share. I feel that was so lovely.
But you know that there's 10 minutes left, right?
I do. No.
Okay.
We're still on air. Don't worry, Chase. We're still on air.
That was a great show.
No, I would like to make a cup of tea, but no, we're still on here for 10 minutes. So, what should we speak about now? Where do we go from here? I guess after we've learned all this information, where do we go from here? Chase?
Okay, so Mitch was talking about how we're changing ourselves, and we're not worrying about changing the world because the world is actually echoes of ourselves, right? Hold on for 1 second.
Yes, exactly. Echoes, I liked that. It's kind of just like, connecting to our inner core, or like, the point where you happen, the point that's you, the creation point, the manifestation point, that feeling of kind of you-ness, kind of just like feeling into that space and then feeling around, getting curious about that, and then kind of just shining that light, right? Right? Are you back, Chase?
Oh my, you just hit the light, shining the light. I was going to talk about this kid that they just found in China. And this is on the same line of changing ourselves. We can change our DNA, and the human DNA. It's like there are new abilities being unlocked, right? I feel like we're in a video game where you have now there's a power up. It's like next level. You can now have this new ability, and this kid was born, and he has this ability. Well, okay, I'll tell the story. The doctors have studied this kid's amazing eyesight since his dad took him to the hospital in southern China, concerned over his bright blue eyes, right? So they're in China where most kids' eyes are black. This kid's eyes are bright blue. The dad said they They told me he would grow out of it and that his eyes would stop glowing and turn black like most Chinese people, but they never did. They're studying the kid because he can see in the dark. What most of us see as darkness, this kid sees it as complete light. He can read in the dark. And they're studying his eyes because what's going on with this kid, how it's like he's got super sensitivity or night vision or a wider range of light frequencies that he can perceive. Or, which is my theory, he is now able to project light from his eyes, whether there's a sun shining or not, whether there's a lamp burning or not, but he's able to project his eyes from his eyes, just like all of us are. We're projecting light out of our eyes, which then illuminates this, which constructs the reality around us. But my theory is this kid just he's not even regulated on the daylight and darkness thing that we're on. He may be transcending even the day and night because he can see in both. I mean, what's going on here? I mean, we have these things are happening. Like, kids are now able to read books. They know they can read the book without even looking at the words on the page. They know the story in it, and they're studying these kids because they have these super abilities to tap into the quantum informational realms.
Yeah, I mean, we see that with autistic children. Like, if you talk to a lot of like clairvoyant healers and other psychics and beings who are multidimensional and are using higher parts of their intelligence, they're saying, autistic children are they're just kind of plugged into a different stream of information, a different part of the eternal, the endless matrix of light, or the lattice of light that we actually are, kind of like, so they're just kind of like plugged in to other streams of knowledge and information. And like, yeah, that boy from China is like one example of like kind of these children and these other individuals who are incarnating on this planet, being born, who like have it goes down to DNA, like have parts of their energetic intelligence, their coding, some of their strands of DNA are turned on. They're just activating more parts of their brain, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And also to think that he's this little kid. I mean, I don't know him. I haven't seen him in physical, but he's a part of me, and he is that part of me that I've unlocked in myself to even perceive this kid. I mean, I look at the picture, and his eyes are just like this electric blue. Like if you're a dolphin looking up at the sun through the ocean, it's got that like vibrancy.
That is so incredible, and that's just hello.
It's so exciting. I want to see like more of this, and we're going to. I mean, this planet's changing so quickly, and like there's going to be so many cases of like crazy abilities like this.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just for not even just for the children who are being born, as in like everyone on the planet who wants to take an active, conscious participation in their soul evolution. cultivating that self-love, making those free will choices to, to connect and to do this work. I don't know. It's so beautiful how we're kind of all coming together and kind of creating this new reality, this new paradigm, and utilizing like our physical bodies and like just like our abilities that are going to shine through, which is like, I don't know. It's kind of like reality is way better than any kind of movie or media product that we've ever listened to.
Mhm.
So that's all for this week, really. What are we going to talk about next week, Chase? What can people what are you going to be doing this week?
You're asking me what our show is going to be next week. We just plan our shows pretty much 15 minutes before the...
That's true.
I don't know. This week, I'll just be continuing on this book. I'm working on the book with Andrew Norton Weber. We're getting together some testimonials, not just some testimonials, like hundreds of testimonials of people who are healing from basically saving their lives from death's door, with diagnosis of cancer, arthritis, some cases people bleeding to death, and they're using urine therapy to just like provide this instant liquid healing, whether they apply the urine to their wound or they're looping it, drinking it. It's like a biological information share of homeopathic medicine. But that's what I'm doing.
Wow. That's super interesting, and I can't wait to hear about that, how that goes for you. I don't think I'm going to be researching or doing work on urine that much this week. I won't be. I'll be having to go to the bathroom, so that much. But I'm just going to, this week, I'm going to, when you like want to start a creative project and you have like 30 million ideas and then you just can't start because you have like way too much like up in your head, like inspired to do. I'm going to pick one. I'm going to start doing it tomorrow morning.
Hey. Nice.
Have a great week, everyone. Thank you.